Martin, it's been a while since we spoke to you, and certainly since your return from Costa Rica. Was that a productive pre-season trip in terms of preparation?
Of course, it was fantastic to be there. Not only because of Brian, we could train well, the facilities were good. So we had to play 3 games. All the people in Costa Rica focused on the games, of course. It was on television. But for us, it was good to be in Costa Rica because I think we've got a lot of fans now in Costa Rica. And that was one part of the tour. The other part was getting them fit, getting a rhythm, play games, and that is what we did. So almost all the players played at least 140, 150 minutes, and that was good.
Something obviously major happened during the trip in that we changed ownership, and you went off to Jacksonville to meet Mr. Khan along with Breda, and that must have been a great excursion for you.
But I have to say it was nice to see the setup there, you know. A big club, big stadium, everything is bigger over there. I'm excited because I feel that there is ambition and I feel that we can do something. We know that we are dealing with a few players and hopefully they will come to us. I know the conversations with new players, big players, and they want to come to Fulham. And that is a good thing, you know. Hopefully the new stand will be built and we will generate more money and that will only be good for Fulham. You know, we are getting there, so we will be a big club in the future.
Presumably you spoke to him about players and wanting to bring different personnel into the squad. Obviously the papers are rife with speculation, as they always are at this time of year. Is there anything that you can tell us? Is there anything close or imminent or anything at all that you can give us regarding other players?
I'm very optimistic, but I was very optimistic before. We've got a good budget, like other clubs in England, and we will try to get good players in. You know, I think it's a good club to be at, and that is what I always tell these players, you know. And that is why these players are here now, like Berbatov or Brian Ruiz, Sasha, Breda Hangeland, Maarten Stekelenburg, who was one of the best keepers in Europe at one stage. The only big change I want to make is probably in offensive midfield and up front, because I feel that we have to play with more tempo. And sometimes we looked a bit vulnerable, not creative enough. We still scored more goals probably than before. We scored 50 goals, but in my opinion, it's still not enough. You know, I would like to excite the people with fantastic football, and I think we did that when we had that team with the players we had. Now they moved on, we have to move on. And I think we are on the fringe of being a very good team again. We still like to get good players in up front. On the flank, I think we are okay, but maybe, you know, you never know. Kaka is injured now and I've got Meska on the left. In the future, he will be a big player. So we've got a few very good players, even in the under-18s. Because I feel that if they are good enough, age doesn't matter. So we've got a few youngsters and that looks good, but I feel that we need a couple of players, not only for the lineup but in the squad as well. That I want a good spirit, I want players who love to play for Fulham, and that is my first priority, you know, to play with fun, to play with freedom, but play with a focus as well. And I think if we can achieve that, you know, we can only entertain the crowds, and that is, with my background, that is my first priority as well.
You talked briefly about Alex Kacaniklic. Obviously it was a hamstring injury, which it's not ideal for that to happen at this point in the season, but is it not as bad as first suspected?
It's always the same with injuries, you know. First week and the second week they say, oh, we did ever so well, and the medical stuff was praised and you feel that there was no injuries. Then we had 1 week to come off and drop out with an injury like that. It's not ideal, but I can assure our fans that Kaka is probably out for 7 or 10 days, so it's not, and hopefully I'm right again, it's not a very bad injury.
We're in a very beautiful place in Austria. The guys are working hard. What do you want to achieve from this week in terms of preparation for Real Betis on Monday?
It's always the same, you know. People will say you have to work hard in pre-season. Of course you have to. I want to build our fitness up. Of course, against these two teams, you know, we play against Betis, Parma, good teams, of course. Will be difficult because they are good teams, but we've got a good team as well, and hopefully we will be ready. We come back, we've got 1 day to rest, then we will train again, and hopefully we can show our crowd that the team has grown, you know, because that is always what you want.
Thank you, Martin.